It's time to get in the holiday spirit with flowers, of course. Today on Behind the Bloom, RJ and I are talking Christmas flower traditions. I've got some great flower ideas to share and some great stories that center around the holidays. Let's jump in the sleigh and get ready to deck the halls with lots of flowers today on Behind the Bloom. The holidays are the perfect time to be surrounded by family, friends, and of course, flowers. Flowers make us feel happier and they reduce stress. And they can even help us release endorphins that make us feel happier. It sounds like flowers are the perfect addition to your holiday celebrations. Stop by the local flower seller and get a little holiday cheer today. Our friends at Cow Flowers are proud sponsors of Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom and Behind the Bloom podcast, where flowers and wellness go hand in hand.
Hey, Jay.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Are you ready for this?
I am.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah. I've got my sweater on.
You do. You look
my
great.
Christmas sweater.
You look
yeah,
great.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I bust this out every Christmas. There's
I
Santa
love it.
with a American flag, I guess, and he's going.
He's going to the American
Yeah,
Depot to go get
yeah.
stuff.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, that's good. I like it.
Thanks,
I have a lot of
thanks.
T-shirts that are,
Oh,
because
cool.
as I've told you, my uniform is T-shirts
Mhm.
and jeans or T-shirts and shorts when I'm home. So I have a lot of Christmas T-shirts. So
Cool, cool.
it's good. It's a good thing. That's funny. Okay, shall we start with a tip?
Yeah. Let's start with a tip.
Oh, I love this one. Okay, so this is from Flower Tips for the Holidays section of Bloom 365, and it's tip 382 called Ornamental Vase. I figured this out one time. You know, ornament is a glass ball, right?
Mhm.
And so if you take the little ornament hanger out, you can fill it up with water. And you can set it
Cool.
in like a little ring, or you can set it in some sand on the table, and then you can put flowers in it and like you could even take like a pen and write someone's name on it, have it be like a place card that they could take home.
Oh,
But you can
cool.
use the vase as like a little, or the ornament as like a little tiny vase. And so I have some ornaments that I just do that with. And and like now ornaments are plastic, but
Mhm.
they're still hollow, so you could still
Mhm.
work and then it wouldn't break. I mean, that's a really good thing. Because my thing is
Yeah.
that there's some of these ornaments that I always, when I would do like holiday shows, I would look for the ones that look like they're glass, and then I'd accidentally drop it on the table, and everybody in the audience would always go, and it would bounce because it's made of plastic. So yeah, then people
Yeah.
are like, oh yeah, but yeah. So it's a good theatrical show for a Christmas thing. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you could use that. And in the water you put in there, you should put in flower food and stuff. And you have to check it because you usually can't see the level. So you don't want it to run out. But you could also put in like Christmas evergreen or holly in it. And that would be a cute thing too.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's our Bloom 365 tip for this week.
Yes. I'm loving the tips at the beginning.
I am
Yeah.
too. I like it as well.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's great. I
Mhm.
think it's great. So we're
Yeah.
talking Christmas, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
It's our Christmas episode. It's snowing behind you, Jay.
I know, right. And so I think it's interesting. We have several Christmas episodes. We have one that is my favorite things kind of themed. It shows a lot of the vintage Christmas that we have that we decorate the house with. And my friend
Mhm.
Madonna got me started on one that I just love. And it's a little light up Christmas diorama. And they were made in
Cool.
Japan. And since then, I found like 3 or 4 more. And I
Oh,
got
cool.
some that are even in original boxes. But I love vintage, retro, mid-century modern type stuff. I love Putz houses. I like all that stuff. So, and then I have a lot of, when I went back to my sister's house, my sister lives in the house that I grew up in. I said, hey, are the Christmas decorations still up in the attic? And she's like, I'm sure they are. Nobody ever took them down. And my mom was very much a thematic Christmas person. She would have
Okay.
like a Christmas tree that had all strawberry ornaments. And then as she got older, she would have a flocked branch. Like a plum thicket is what it was in the Midwest is what they do. And it's a branch and they would flock it. And then she'd hang all of her she had Gorham sterling silver ornaments that she would hang all over. They were all snowflakes.
Oh,
And
okay.
that was her thing, But I
Mhm.
always liked when I would always try and convince her to do everything we had on the tree. That's my favorite is everything we have.
Just put everything up
Right.
there, not like a single. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our Christmas tree has over 750 ornaments on it.
Wow.
And you really can't see the tree once it's done.
That's awesome.
And they all mean something. And Kel and I will do that in an afternoon and we'll put on our favorite, Christmas shows. And which my favorite Christmas show is the Bell Book and the Candle.
Oh, wait, tell me about
I know,
that.
The Bell Book and the Candle. It's about witches at
Oh,
Christmas,
cool.
and it has Jimmy Stewart in it, and somebody's saying it right out there right now as we think about it, and I can't think
They're
about this.
shouting at their
I
car
know, and they're
radio.
like, "You
Yeah.
don't know who she is." Oh, she's still alive too. She's fabulous. But anyway, and then there's a black cat in it too. But the story of the
Oh.
story is she's a witch, and she makes Jimmy Stewart fall in love with her, and that's my favorite one. So then Kim Novak. Thank you. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
buried deep in the realms of my brain. Kim Novak's in it.
Someone in their car is saying, "Oh, thank you."
Thank God. Yeah. So Kim Novak's in it. And I love that one. And so we use that to decorate the Christmas tree too. And Jack Lemmon's in it too. And Elsa Lancaster's in it as well. So yeah, and they all play witches. And it's very fun. And so, yeah, but
Cool.
then we put all the decorations and we talk about it. And it's like, oh, remember when we got this one? And some of them are Kells that he made when he was in school. And my
Oh,
parents
cool.
would always give me ornament every year. And then I would have the date on it. And so then, and a couple of them broke. My dad broke my favorite one time. One year he dropped it and it hit the ladder step and exploded. And I was
Oh.
like mad at him for a week because he broke my ornament. Like it was his fault. But I found it at an antique fair, and so I have it back now. I
Really?
found that
The same one?
ornament. Yeah.
And what was it like?
It's a big ornament that's kind of shaped like a traditional ornament, maybe like a teardrop on the bottom. And so it's kind of big and it's hot pink and it has gold stripes on it, and then there's polka dots on it.
Oh, cool.
And so yeah, it was just a vintage old ornament from I don't know from when. You know,
Mhm.
as I do, it was 1963, so it was a 1963 ornament, and then I found it at an antique fair one day. I was like, "This is the ornament," and Kelsey's like, "Okay, we're gonna get it. Settle down, everything will be fine." So yeah,
That's so cool.
so yeah,
Yeah,
we
like
try and there's a lot of reclaiming of our childhood and stuff in our tree, and then we also have a Christmas tree in the office that has only the glass ornaments that are like a piece of cheese or a stick of butter or that are all those old world Christmas ornaments, right? And so we
mhm.
have a Christmas tree with that, and each one has to do with the shows that we did that year.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, and then
Oh,
except for like Sandy Luna made us she did a Dia de los Muertos show for us, but she made us an angel for the top of the tree that's made out of paper mache that's fabulous. And so
cool.
there it is. So the office has the tree like that. And then we also have an old aluminum Christmas tree with the wheel underneath it too.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, there's that one that goes up too. So yeah, so we have
Cool,
3 in
cool.
the house, but yeah, it's fun.
That's
I love that.
that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
So I grew up with a Christmas tree and similar to you, I have like one from like every year that my parents would give me. But so all of those are still at my parents' house, and they have not been passed on to me yet. And I know someday they're coming my
They will come
direction.
back around to you.
Yeah,
That's true, right?
yeah. But because Amanda and I live in an apartment, we don't usually get a full tree.
Right.
But what we did was a few years ago, we went to this like holiday craft fair,
Uh-huh.
and it was we were out on some road trip, and this was in like rural Iowa, and we went to this random craft fair, and it was all these farmers and cowboys and everything. And so we found this. It's made of horseshoes, all painted green, and so it's maybe like I don't know 3.5 feet tall, all horseshoes that are welded together and painted green to look like a Christmas tree. And so we put that up in our window and hang ornaments from
I
that. And
love
so
it.
yeah, it's super cool.
That
It's
is super
yeah,
cool.
yeah. We were there and we were like, "That looks just awesome," and we love Western stuff, and so we bought it, and that's been our tree since we've been living together.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Because it's hard. We have artificial tree that I got many, many years ago from a company called Windward, and Windward has been featured on our show with magnolias and stuff. It's an irregular tree, and it didn't succeed. Okay, they had it as a prototype one year, and it didn't sell at the market, and so they said, "Do you want this?" And I was like, "Yes." And it's all irregular. So it looks
Oh.
like a real tree because some stems are longer, there's holes in it and stuff like that.
Oh, how
And
cool.
so it does. And so people always believe it's a real tree and it's really
Right.
old. It's like 25 years old. And so there
Oh.
is a little discussion about that because like, do you get a real tree? Do you get a poly tree? I feel like if I've kept a tree for 25 years, I've saved a lot of trees.
Mm.
So I do have an artificial one, and I do
Mhm.
believe that, and Kelly's dream is for us to get one that we could plant in the yard every day. And there's one right outside the window over here that we did use as a decoration on the deck and now it lives in our yard. And I do
Oh.
love that. And that one
Mhm.
has Christmas lights on it all year long. I don't know if you
Oh,
noticed when
cool.
you were here for the
Oh,
thing.
no, I
It
don't
was
think I
right
did.
by
Okay.
where we were shooting, but it has Christmas lights on it. And so every day when we turn it on, when we turn on the cafe lights that are back in the thing, then that Christmas tree goes on. And people are always like,
Oh,
"You have a Christmas tree in your backyard all year long?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do."
yeah.
Because I don't want to take those lights off. They've been on there
No,
forever,
no.
and it's probably 5 foot taller than it was when we put it in. So, I mean,
Oh,
it's a
okay.
big tree now. So, yeah,
Yeah.
and it's really nice. That's the whole thing about it. I don't think it ever really matters what you do. It's just that you continue to do it and that you have memories of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's fun to have some type of tradition and you kind of make it your own. And it's,
Sure.
it's like, yeah, yeah. It's, you don't think like, oh, this is necessarily what I'm going to do. But when you see something like this horseshoe Christmas tree, you're like, oh, this is so something that we're interested in.
And how
And
precious that is to you
yeah,
too. I mean,
right,
it's
right.
part of you now.
Yeah, yeah.
And
What's funny though is we're running out of room because we are starting to get ornaments every year, and this thing is only so big, and it's two-dimensional really. It's not like,
oh, gotcha. Okay, right,
it's like
right,
a
right.
flat face. So yeah, so there's even less
Yeah.
space to hang things.
Oh,
So I don't know.
interesting.
Eventually, we're gonna have to get something that we can hang more on, but yeah.
Or just bring in other things. I don't know,
There we
Yeah, yeah,
go.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, you could
that,
bring in
yeah.
other things
We
and
could put
hang it
branches coming off of it,
right,
Jay.
something, yeah, that would
Yeah,
allow you
yeah,
more stuff.
yeah, yeah.
I used to do that for people. We did this thing called plugging Christmas trees. We would plug branches into Christmas trees so people had more room to decorate on a tree.
Oh, that's so smart.
And so
Cool.
this is where one of the stories that I love, we were always the last ones to get Christmas trees, right? And we would mark all these Christmas trees in our business. And my dad had a flocking machine and he would flock trees. And honestly, it looked like peanuts, like in the Christmas special
Yeah.
with Charlie Brown, right?
Mhm.
We would have hot pink ones and gold ones and blue ones because we would flock it and then we would paint it with floral spray to make it the color people wanted. And that was in
Oh,
the
cool.
60s, right? And
Mhm.
so it was just and it was a very mid-century thing and we would do that all the time. And so my grandma, we were sitting there, it was Christmas Eve, and my grandma was like, "Where's my Christmas tree?" And it was a really busy year. It was a year we'd done a whole lot of stuff and my grandpa was like, there was a tree laying on the ground and we would buy one big giant tree and we would cut the branches off of it so we could make holes in the other trunks of trees and plug that tree. Okay, so we'd be cutting
Okay.
off a branch, coring a hole, putting it in there, screwing in a screw so that that wouldn't fall out, and it made the tree full and lush and beautiful, or would allow it to have
Okay.
more ornaments and stuff. So there's this big tree laying on the floor that's like 10 foot tall, but it has no branches really left on it. They've just all been cut off and it's just laying there. My
Mhm.
grandpa's like, hmm. So he grabs it. He puts that stumpy thing that just has these, branches just sticking out every direction, right? With no foliage on them at all. And so he flocks it black. Okay.
Okay.
Then
Uh-huh.
he puts it in his house, and they had a mid-century living room with these big long windows. And so it went from the floor to the ceiling. So
Mhm.
then he went and he got red ornaments that were as big as like a cranberry to as big as like watermelon.
Whoa,
And he
okay.
just hung all those red ornaments on it of all those different sizes. And it was so artistic and it was so wonderful and
That
it
sounds
was
so
just
cool.
so lovely. And I still
Yeah.
fantasize about that. I don't have those red ornaments or anything, and I don't know whatever happened to them. That would be a cool thing to recreate one year,
Yeah.
because it
Do you
was
have any
just
photos of that,
I
Jay?
I
That sounds
don't. I
so
don't. I
oh,
wish I
it
did.
sounds so cool just
It
picturing that in
was,
my head. I
you
would
know,
love to see that.
my cousin got all of my grandpa's slides, and she is on
Okay.
the lookout to find that for me. We found a
Okay.
couple other ones that were their living room was orange, and so he had several orange Christmas trees
Oh, wow.
because he had like an orange Eames chair and stuff in there, and he had and he had his little stand up cigarette ashtray that he would sit there, and they had a fireplace that this one whole wall is a fireplace, and it was all blonde brick. And he said, your grandmother and I wanted a red brick fireplace and she wanted a blonde brick fireplace. And so you see that we made an agreement about it. And up in the right-hand corner is one brick, one red brick. And I have a picture of them sitting in front of that fireplace. And I'm just like, as my grandpa, just see, okay, I'm going to get one red brick in here. And he would do that kind of stuff
Yeah,
because it was
yeah.
crazy, right? Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that gets me into my most bizarre Christmas story.
Oh, I am so excited for this, Jay.
Okay, all right. We have foreshadowed this.
Yes, yes.
All right. So as my grandma aged, my grandma and grandpa were together all the time. They were always together. And they did deliveries for us at the greenhouse all the time. And even when my grandma was in a wheelchair, my Grandpa would load her up into the car and they would take all of our out-of-town deliveries. And they loved that. And they knew where every house was and they would drive. And my grandpa would smoke in the car. My grandma had emphysema from being in the car with my grandpa because she never smoked, but they smoked in this Riviera. I mean, they had a Riviera. That was their car. And they would deliver in this and they were always in there, right? And they were just always together. And on Christmas Eve, they had delivered everything, and then we went and delivered all day and everything was great. And I went out and talked to them and they were delivering poinsettias and having a great time and everything. And so our family would all get together on Christmas morning at my grandparents' house. And over the years, because my grandma didn't want to have everybody there, we moved it to my sister's house, which was right next door. We'd brought grandma over there in her wheelchair because she couldn't walk anymore. She's still very active and stuff and still very stylish and stuff. And so we all set up, the whole family, all my cousins and my aunts and uncles and everybody there. And grandma's right behind me in the wheelchair. And I was sitting on the floor. We're all passing out and somebody's having to play Santa. And somebody said, "Here's one for grandma," and handed it to me. And I turned around to hand it to my grandma and she was slumped over in the wheelchair. And I was like, "Hey," my mother came over and checked her pulse. And my mother grabbed her by the ankles and pulled her out of the wheelchair onto the floor and started doing CPR.
Oh my gosh.
My mother was doing CPR and she was like, "Don't you ruin Christmas." As she's doing CPR. And they call the ambulance and the ambulance pulls up and they do more CPR and then they're like, my grandma died. She had a massive heart attack and she died right in the middle of packages. And
Oh my
so
gosh.
my grandpa got in the car with my mom and dad and went to the funeral home and to take my grandma to the funeral home. Then we all went over to my mother's house because I think, as I've told you before, I think in our Thanksgiving episode, that we would always have dinner in my mother's house because it was the house that my great grandfather built. And my grandpa always wanted to have his Christmas and Thanksgiving dinner in that house, in the room that he was born in, blah, 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 blah.
Mhm.
So we're all waiting for my grandma and grandpa and my mom to get back, and we're all sitting there. And so you also were never allowed to smoke in my mother's home. You could not
Okay.
smoke in my mother's home. My grandpa smoked 3 packs of Camel no filters every day. So we walk into the house, and my dad, everybody's just kind of looking at everybody like, what are we going to do? What do we say, right? My dad says to my grandpa, would you like a drink? And he said, "Oh yeah, I would like a big boy drink." And he was like, "Okay." So my mom had these strawberry tumblers rather than a Manhattan glass, but my grandpa
Oh,
wanted a Manhattan. Did I say martini? He wanted a Manhattan.
okay.
My grandpa always drank a Manhattan.
Okay.
So my dad brings in
You
this.
just said a big boy drink.
Okay, so a tumbler. He brings in a tumbler
Okay.
of this, right? And my grandpa sits down. My mother had an orange velvet lazy boy.
Oh.
This is so weird that it all fits together, right? Right. So my grandpa sits down and everybody's just looking at my grandpa, right? And he's sitting there. He's got this Manhattan. He sets it on the little stand next to it, takes out his cigarettes, hits his cigarette, pulls out a cigarette, and everybody's looking at him because everybody knows you do not smoke in this house, right? My
Yeah.
grandpa lights up his cigarette and leans back, takes a big drag off of it. He says, "Well, this is the shittiest Christmas I've ever had. How about the rest of you?" True
Wow,
story.
Jay.
True story.
Cannot
And
believe this.
everybody just dies laughing. And my grandpa's just like, yeah. And I mean, we all joked about it because we were so busy. My grandpa always said she waited to die because she knew we wouldn't go to the funeral. We were all off. We didn't have to work the next week, so we all could go. But yeah. And it's just, and that's the way my family was. That we were always florists. We were always doing it. We were always, and it's just, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I joke about, I was born on my grandmother's birthday, and I handed her a package when she died in the middle of the presents.
Oh my gosh.
But she had a great life, and she was wonderful, and she was a great person, and I'm sure that she would giggle about it too. I mean, I think part of being a florist is we deal with everything. We deal with people who are, every single day is a roller coaster ride in a flower shop, because the first person has had a baby, the next person has lost their parents, the next person is sending somebody flowers in the hospital because they have pneumonia. The next person is celebrating an anniversary. It's up and down and up and down and up and down. You do take it all with a grain of salt, and you do take it with a lot of humor because you have to. And I think that, I've watched enough stand-up comedians and enough stand-up comedian convention or documentaries and stories about them to know that the darkest, worst times are when the comedy comes out. And
It's
that's
true.
how you learn to laugh and live through it. Because if
Yeah.
you don't live through it.
Right.
And
Mhm.
it's, and I've told that story a lot, and people are just like, oh my God, but it's like, it's okay. And it was okay in our family. I mean,
Right.
you know, and, and
Mhm.
everybody, it was really funny because we all were back, as we were all waiting there, everybody's like, well, um, does anybody want grandma's presents back so you can keep them or because it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
well, we didn't even get started. So yeah, I guess so,
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah. And it would be like, my cousin would be like, this was a sweater I bought grandma the year she died. So I've always kept it, and I'm just like, oh,
Oh,
okay, I got
yeah,
it. Okay,
yeah.
okay, that's cool. So yeah, so that's all kind of part of it. Yeah. So yeah, that is my strangest Christmas story.
I was not expecting that, Jay. That exceeded my expectations. That went in a
Awesome.
whole different direction.
When it comes to flowers and increased vase life, I choose Kreisel Flower Food and have enjoyed the benefits for years, professionally and personally. My favorite product is Kreisel Professional 3. This formula feeds the flowers and helps control growth of bacteria in the vase. If you want to try Kreisel Flower Food products, visit their website, kreiselflowerfood.com. Look for the link in the podcast description. Use our special discount code UBLOOM10. That's the letter U, Bloom, 10, for 10% off your purchase. Support the joy of flowers. The Life in Bloom Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to flower education and inspiring a love of flowers in everyone. The foundation helps fund the production of Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom on public television, making it possible for viewers across the country to enjoy the beauty and benefits of flowers. The foundation also provides free flower education to high schools, colleges, and floriculture programs through ubloom.com, helping students and future florists bloom in their own careers. Your donation in any amount makes a difference. Plus, all contributions are 100% tax deductible. If you'd like to help us continue sharing the power of flowers, visit the lifeinbloomfoundation.org to donate today. Thank you for your support.
I am 100% with you that humor gets you through
It
those
does.
times.
It
And
does, yeah.
my family shares a lot of that same, like, we laugh our way through things just because that's, I don't know, it's human. It's like,
It's very weird and interesting, too, in our family. Everything happens on someone's birthday.
hmm,
So, like, people who got married on somebody's birthday, or people who died on somebody's birthday, or it all happens like that. And we all laugh about it, but it's just like it's somebody's. I mean, my grandpa died on my nephew's birthday. It's just always. I was born on my grandmother's birthday.
hmm,
My grandma died on Christmas Day. That wasn't somebody's birthday, but it was close.
right,
So
right.
I mean, it's like something was everyone gathered together, So yeah, it's just kind of that thing. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's all very interesting and odd. So yeah,
yeah.
but I think that's the way people are. What's really interesting about the show, I think, is that APT, American Public Television, PBS, Create TV air our Christmas shows a lot, and we have three now, I think. The winter one. We did one that was non-secular because I also want to be considerate about that too. And so we
Mhm.
have a show that is about winter. And so everything in it
Yeah.
is white and ice and stuff like that. The one that's going to come out next year is themed to Dickens because Kelly and I love the Christmas Carol. And we watch
Oh,
everything. And we went to the Charles Dickens Museum when we were in London.
oh,
And
cool.
I had never read The Christmas Carol. I bought The Christmas Carol and read it on my flight back to the US.
Oh,
And it was
cool.
just really magical that I got A Christmas Carol at the Charles Dickens Museum. And so
Yeah.
this special that's going to be in season 8 next year, so it will come out in April of next year, but it'll be part of that season, is called A Dickens of a Christmas. And we do
Oh,
Christmas past, Christmas present, Christmas future.
oh, cool. I love that.
We have quotes from the show. We had this wonderful British man who is a voice actor, and he did all of the quotes because the quotes all have to do with the Dickens story with the Christmas Carol and stuff. So I just
Cool.
and we find last year public television aired our Christmas programs over 80 times.
Wow.
So it's something that does get pulled out of the mix and shown more often. And
Right.
so we just got back yesterday
Yeah.
last night. From we spent a week in California and Washington, and we were filming our Christmas episode, part of our Christmas episode for season 9, which won't air till April of 2027. So that kind of tells you how far we have to work ahead. But this was
Wow.
basically because of Christmas. If we didn't shoot it now, we couldn't shoot it next year and get it into stuff, because once we've
I
created these
gotcha.
shows, they have to be mounted and done by December 1. And so
Okay.
we couldn't have gone and filmed this and then still got it into a show and got it vetted and approved and formatted and closed captioned and posted onto the satellite before December 1. We are filming this for that far in advance, but that show is going to be called Making Christmas.
Oh,
And so we went to a place in Shelton, Washington, Continental Floral Greens. And we went to a place where they hand make and here's something I want to tell you about, and this is just an interesting point of differentiation between stuff. Christmas wreaths that are fresh are hand tied or crimped, but that means that they are still hand tied or crimped by a human being. So every one is made by a person. A person makes
okay,
every
cool.
Christmas wreath. There are no machines that make Christmas wreaths. There are also no machines that make baskets. So when you see a basket, it is handmade by someone. And
Really?
a friend of mine sent me a picture of a lady in the Philippines who could make a basket with her hands and a basket with her feet at the same time.
With her feet?
With her feet.
That's
So, I mean,
amazing.
whenever you're looking at a basket, even if you're looking at a utilitarian basket that you're buying in a craft store and you're buying it for $1, someone made that.
That's incredible to think about.
It's so interesting. When we were here, with these guys are putting together, and these guys in 9 weeks will make 1,000,000 wreaths.
Oh my gosh.
360 people making 1,000,000 wreaths in 9 weeks.
That's insane. I saw the videos that you posted on social, Jay, and it was just so many people, and they're all, like, going so quick and having but, like, enjoying it at the same time.
They're all artisans from this special part of Mexico, which is the floral capital, and they go down there and they recruit them, and they also help train them, and because they get paid by the piece.
Oh,
We interviewed one man who can make 200 wreaths in a day.
wow.
He comes up here and he makes money for his family, and it's very good money. I will tell you that. And these people are artisans and they appreciate them. And this gentleman, Scott, that I talked to, just allowed me to meet these people, and these people are happy to have this. And it's a all H2B program, so they're all registered. They all know they come up here for 7 weeks, then they go back home, and they go back, and it's in their DNA. They have people that are second generation doing this, right? But they're crafting this and creating this, right? And they're blaring this, like they call it banger music, and it's
Oh.
it's 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 very rhythmic, and they actually like dance when they make these
Oh,
wreaths,
fun.
and they're crafting them by wrapping wire around and collecting this. And the wreaths also have to be beautiful when they're done, because if not, there is a person who will reject them. They don't want any rejections because they have 1,000,000 to make, right? Okay, so they're going to
Right.
make these, right? But we were talking about it, and the evergreen that they harvest from this place grows on the side of Mount St. Helens. And he said, you know what's interesting is we get this evergreen down from the mountain. They harvest it and then they bring it down. They pick it up with helicopters and put it into trucks that drive it down the mountain. It's the only way to do it.
Wow.
He said the dust that is on this evergreen, we wash it, but we don't wash it. We don't scrub it. You know, it's still there. There's still, but sometimes the dust has to be, there's too much dust and they just have to rinse them off and stuff like that to keep them clean, like you would with any tree, right? But he said, what occurs to me is that it's the dust of the world.
Hmm.
It's the dust that's been blown around the world and it's landed on this tree, and it's going to come in and be your Christmas decoration. And the dust of the world is on this tree, on this wreath. And that's part of what we celebrate, is that we're all here together. And I think that it was just a really moving thing for me to hear. I was just like, it's the dust of the world. And there's
Wow.
that line in Peanuts Christmas where they talk about Pigpen having the dust of the world on him. And he said, I could have dust
Oh,
on
I
me
didn't
that
remember
was
that.
tread on by Nebuchadnezzar. It's true.
Right.
So could your wreath. Your wreath could
Yeah.
have dust from, it could have dust from Antarctica. It could have dust from Brazil. Who knows? But it's the dust
Right.
of the world. And it was handcrafted by another human. There's a humanitarian concept with this that I was just mesmerized by. I think it's also interesting, too, because one of the guys that was harvesting, he said, I harvest Christmas every year, and I've never missed one. And Christmas has always come. Christmas always comes. And that's yet another thing that we watch, How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Mhm.
Christmas always comes. It's not about the bows or the ribbons or the wreaths or Christmas always shows up. Christmas is always coming. And nothing's going to stop it in our hearts. If we decorate with flowers and all that I mean, it's very philosophical. And it's, when I'm on these trips, I get very little sleep. And I get even more melancholy. I cry a lot. I cry even more on these trips just because I get it. I mean, I got to shake hands with the guy who makes 200 wreaths an hour. Or in a day, sorry, in an 8-hour shift, What in the world? What in the world? You are an artist, and it's
Right.
beautiful. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. And I'm just like, it's just so amazing. And
And there's probably what, one person in the world that can, you met the one person that can
maybe
make
I
them that
I
incredible
I
and
don't
that many,
I
and
don't know. No, you know what? So they told me 360. There are 359 people who are making that same beautiful wreath. So
Oh, yeah.
I met one of that group of people
Wow,
that
wow.
come from that special place, that special town or region of Mexico where they were taught as children to make wreaths
Wow.
for their culture and like for their funerals and for their celebrations and for Dia de los Muertos or for something else or they've arranged or they made bundles of flowers that they decorated with or that they sold. He said, I go to this region because I can get artisans.
Mm.
There are artisans that we can bring to do this. And that's very important to them. There's one gentleman there who has been coming since he was a teenager and he's 66 years old. He brings him up every year as the guy because he's the guy who takes care of everybody. He's the guy who manages everybody. He's the guy who teaches the new guys how to do it. And I got to shake hands with him and meet him. And he was wonderful. He's been doing it for 50 years. So obviously it's not a bad thing, for those of you who are
Right.
thinking, oh, is this a bad thing? No, and it's all done the way that everyone wants it to be done. Everything is done that way. I mean, it was amazing. It was amazing.
Oh,
And
that's
it was
incredible.
magical. And it was just, and this next week we're going to shoot inside a greenhouse that's filled with poinsettias before they all get shipped out all over the world. And if
Oh,
you've never
cool.
seen a greenhouse full of poinsettias, you will on this show because that was important. I will, as I have said before many times, I will probably eat a poinsettia while I'm there because poinsettias are not poisonous. For all of you who want to say poinsettias are poisonous, they're not. And they're bitter and they're awful and they taste bad. But if you want to choke down one, you'll be fine. Because there's a clean bill of health for the poinsettia. So yeah.
Are you gonna do it on the episode?
Sure, of course I will.
Yeah.
Of course
Okay.
I will. And these guys are going to be like, oh my God, here we go. But it's the only way to prove things to people sometimes.
Right.
Right? And my
Yeah.
mother did that. My mother was on the Joni Ballion show and was also on Donahue. My mom was on Donahue one time and
Really?
ate a poinsettia. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
I've been on television before. I was on P. Ellen Smith's show, ate a poinsettia. Because I just want to prove to people. I just hate it when something gets a bad rap that isn't true. If it's a bad rap and you deserve it, I'm okay with that too.
Right.
But
Right.
harmless poinsettia.
Well, Jay, you just live such an amazing life, being able to travel to all these places and then being able to share it with everyone. Like, it's not only one thing for you just to be able to experience it, but for you to show all of your fans and show everyone, on your TV show, these amazing things. Like, what a treat.
That is a huge blessing. I mean, I've always stated I was born for this job, but the fact that I can go somewhere and show people what that's like and what it's like. I mean, it was really funny. Mr. Milgard, who owns the company, was not able to be there, but he FaceTimed me and he was like, is everything going okay? How's it all going? We're so happy to have you there. And I was in tears. I was like, this is so magical. I did not know what to expect. And it was even better. It doesn't matter being able to walk through a tulip field with Ben O'Dobe. It was the episode where I saw stock for the first time in the fields at Ocean View with John Donati, and it brought tears to my eyes because it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Standing in a greenhouse with the last American-grown carnation grower and watching him grow carnations. It's all those things that. This is what public education television is about. It is how we watch shows the big cats. I watch that, and how these little lion cubs are born, and how little leopard cubs are born, and something happens to them sometimes. And it's why we watch those shows, because we desire to be educated. We desire to learn. We want to see the good and the bad. We want to see how something occurs. And that's why we want to watch Bob Ross paint a painting in 30 minutes with no stops. You
Mhm.
know, we want to see that. We want to travel with Rick Steves to the European Christmas markets. We want to watch Samantha Brown teach us how to fix a dish that our family's going to go crazy over. That's what public television, PBS, and Create are about. And that's why it's so important that we defend them, and why we support them and help them. And I hope that there's going to be some way that we can get the Corporation of Public Broadcasting to get money back, because that is what helps so much of this educational process. But it's important that we teach and that we learn. And for me, it's about sitting back and understanding a little bit more about that poinsettia, or a little bit more about that evergreen, or a little bit more about that wreath you bought, or that garland. This company made enough garland last year to run from Seattle to Tijuana.
What?
That is some crazy garland, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and they make it in 100-piece bolts, and then they cut it to the lengths that their customers desire. Because some people want a
Wow.
10-foot, some people want an 8-foot, some people want a
Mhm.
25-foot. So, it just depends. When you go to retail outlets this year and you see real foliage, real garland, or real wreaths, or real poinsettias, or ilex berries, winterberry in a sleeve in a grocery store, I will promise you that next year we will show you how those got there,
Oh,
so that
cool.
you understand the story behind them. And they will be more magical next year, because that's how they got there. You know the story behind it. But I am very, 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 very fortunate that we get to produce the show. I'm also extremely fortunate that you helped me do these episodes so that people can
Oh.
learn more about what we saw. Hopefully, it's like taking you to those places with me, because I want you to see it. And there's so many places. The flower fields in Carlsbad, we drove by those this week. There's nothing there right now, which is so
Oh,
weird to
right.
see the fields in Carlsbad naked. You can go to those places. You can go to the flower fields in the spring and see millions of ranunculus in bloom in color swaths. You can experience that. You can go do
Cool.
that. And when you're taking home that little bunch of flowers, you're taking home a piece of that. If you're bringing home a bunch of tulips, you just visited Lane, or someone who grows tulips like Lane, and are bringing them to the grocery store. You might buy them, or the flower shop you might buy them. I always like to refer to flower sellers, because everybody has their preferred place to buy flowers. You're taking a piece of that home with you. I think that's what makes it special, and it's what makes Christmas special. It's a piece of your holiday. What do you eat for Christmas? What do you eat for Christmas, RJ?
Me?
Yeah. What do you
Oh,
guys have?
so growing up, Swedish meatballs was always our
Oh,
our big, yeah, and lingonberry, and
what's lingonberry?
it's a Swedish berry, and so you make jam, but with actual berries in it, and so you have it, like, as a side, you put lingonberries next to it. So those were always, like, my favorites growing up, but since then, as an adult, we go visit my parents in Colorado, and so it's always kinda something different. My parents were vegan for a while, and so
Okay.
they would figure out, like, different vegan options. My mom is, like, a phenomenal cook, and so she always kinda mixes up
Oh,
and has
that's
something
awesome.
different. Yeah, so when we would go with my grandparents, it was always Swedish meatballs and lingonberry, and then now just with my parents, it's whatever my mom is in the mood for. She always is like, "Oh, I wanna try this year," and we're always like, "Oh,
Sure.
we're on board for whatever." So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
really important to have those traditions, because it's the memories. I am dying to find for Grace. You know the little the ceramic Christmas trees that everybody has, right?
Yeah, mhm.
There's one that's a devil egg server.
Oh, cool.
It's a thing,
Oh,
and you put deviled eggs in it, and Grace always brings deviled eggs to Christmas.
oh,
And
I
so
love
I
deviled
wanna
eggs.
find this. Okay, I've seen them online. They're like $600 because they're
What?
vintage ones, you know?
Oh,
And
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
"Oh my god," but I wanna find one somewhere at a
Oh,
Goodwill or something, somebody didn't know what they
yeah.
have. I just love that. I love those things that you get out, and there's certain things that go in certain spots in your home, and
Oh,
I
right,
think that
right.
it's like, it has to go here, or this goes there. That's all cool. or if you're
Mhm.
going to watch shows, or there's movies that we always want to watch and see. I mean, it's all of those things. It's about creating. I have a note here because I'm going to make myself a note. I want to do a podcast about rituals sometime too,
Oh,
because
cool.
I think that
Yeah.
rituals are a big part of what we do. And I think that it's important to remember that no matter what it's like right now, Christmas is still going to come.
Right.
Some Christmases are good, some Christmases are not as good. My grandma showed us that. You move on and you create your own memories and you create your own things. And so Christmas is always going to come, and it's always going to be what's in your heart.
And I feel like traditions are evolving too. It's like every year you kind
Absolutely.
of make it a little different, but it still is like your own. And yeah, there's different ways to celebrate.
We don't celebrate with family on Christmas
Mm-hmm.
just because everybody has so much stuff to do. And so then Grace and Nick come over afterwards, and
Okay.
we pick a special day for Christmas, and we just do it between ourselves. And
Oh,
I'm okay
nice.
with that too, because I like that Christmas is just me and Kel and the dogs. I mean, that's
Oh,
kind of fun
yeah.
too. So yeah,
Right, right.
it's a new tradition for us. It's not something that we
Yeah.
normally would do. So yeah, it's great.
Oh,
Well, thanks. Hey, thanks for talking
yeah.
Christmas with me.
Yeah,
I
thanks,
appreciate
Jay.
it.
This was so much fun.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
it. Thanks for joining us this week on Behind the Bloom podcast with Jay Schwanke and RJ Poole. If you loved what you heard, be sure to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. And share it with a friend to help us spread the joy, one bloom at a time. Thank you for taking the time to slow down with us. And hopefully you left feeling a little lighter and inspired to try something new. Make sure to join us next week for a brand new episode. Thanks for being here with us, Behind the Bloom. Hey, just one more thing. If you love flowers, you've got to check out ubloom.com. It's the online home of Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom, where you can stream every episode for free. Plus, you'll find behind the bloom videos, my blog, show recipes, and so much more. There's also a massive video archive, over 1,800 how-to videos, flower farm documentaries, and even my very first series, JTV. All Life in Bloom episodes, exclusive web content, and farm documentaries are totally free. Just sign up with your email. And if you're ready to dive deeper, there's a paid subscription option that unlocks the full library of how-to videos. Everything from creating bridal bouquets to centerpieces, corsages, and more. Tons of content to explore. You're gonna love it.